Hi everybody, welcome to today's episode of Castles and Crapshacks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time it is wherever you are. We're going to be doing more Kerran workshop tours today because, the workshop is a pretty awesome process, and to be perfectly honest, I feel like that's been the most effective use of the Castles and Crapshacks touring. So, we are, we're going to be starting here with a little tour of actually what I've been working on here. Now, this is kind of a simple project. I started it during the 30-hour marathon. It took me maybe 2 or 3 hours or so to get the base in place, get this little wood trim going here, these kind of off-centered posts, getting them in place, getting these walls up. Now these walls have a little bit of angle to them. They have a little bit of taper that actually kind of allows the character to kind of grab onto it a little bit. It's a little funny. I don't know if that's something I want to actually maintain or not. Digs, content and creations won't be starting until after SOE Live because right now it's only Castles and Crapshacks. We don't really have the as much of the truly interactable content. So, just gonna kind of show a little tour of what's going on now. I didn't really work the asymmetry too much. It was mostly just these wood spars going through here. These ones I didn't really work the asymmetry yet. Eventually that'll get worked in different lengths, maybe a little bit of differential width, stuff hanging off of some of them, but not all of them. And been kind of working on some of this openy parallaxing lattice work. This is kind of going with what Rosie Rappaport had recommended about, if you see multiple things kind of moving in parallax as you move around a Kerran structure, that's a good thing. So that's what I've tried to do here. I've got all of the lattice work kind of stuck out from the windows themselves. Nothing goes inward, it all kind of goes outward. So when you walk across it, this kind of effect you get here with the different layers, and then especially if you get close to one of the sides here, you can actually see there's some room between the posts there, further giving it more light and more cracks and more breathing too. A very high air kind of structure I've designed here. Got the wave pattern going up here, but instead of having the entire wave pattern in such a way that it doesn't look like it's helping to hold the top up, I have these kind of fatter posts in the middle, kind of fatter points, that it kind of feels like it's going from here up through here to give it some good support. Likewise, I do have the these kind of heavier wooden corners to help cut the plaster, and the idea was that this is pretty much where the plaster is going to end on the build, and you can actually see that as I go out here. That really is where the plaster ends. There's no more after that, and there ain't gonna be none more after that, probably. Feels recognizably Kerran, that's the best part. That, and I feel like honestly, I did this without any real voxelmancy techniques. These were just smoothing down a length of cubes into a cylinder, just using the smooth tool because it's real easy to do that. Then copying a section out and using the paste negative to cut out the circular divots there. You lost... Oh, Diggs, but you always lose audio. I don't know if it's just Skype now. Labels, how's it going? Hey, Labels, I got your message. I'll have to get you back on the right account because that's not the one I used for that system. So just a little bit of light treatment on these windows. I might do a little bit more, but I wanted to have something, it's an east-west oriented building, and the way I accentuate that is with these little excuse me, with these little kind of overhangs that I put, and those overhangs are going to be supported by the wood spars that I put below, so they're not just hanging out there for no reason. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping, This is partially to kind of show that there's hope for people that don't have advanced voxelmancy techniques. I didn't use anything too fancy here, and clearly it's coming out looking pretty Kerran. These shapes here I might adjust a little. I like these here, but these I was kind of going for a bone shape or maybe something that's shaped like a ship, and it kind of looks like some sort of weird, I'm not even going to say. So those will probably get adjusted a little bit, but not sure exactly to what extent. And once again, reinforcing the east-west orientation of the building here. This is open. These are the east and west sides are open. You can just kind of look out. And if you're Kerran height, you'd be standing and looking down like this. This is, on top of a hill here, really. This is about as high up as a Kerran's going to be able to get. So I figure just having a one claim height or so for the structure pretty well counts, because you're already on top of the world at this point. Kerran's already looking down on everything. So here's a little bit of that look at the lattice from the outside. Now this roof here, it might look like it was some complex technique that made it, and it isn't actually. I made one segment with the line tool. It connects to a block down here, then to a kind of a block in the middle, and then another block on the other side, and pretty much copied and pasted and kept rotating that same pretty much a V-shaped segment, pasting around and around and around, trying to get all the nooks and crannies and fill everything in, and it came out looking like this circular pagoda style roof. Now the reason why I went with the circular on top of the kind of squared tapered trapezoid, I actually saw this interesting thing. It looked like a Photoshop picture from Mount Fuji, but illustrating the point nonetheless of lenticular clouds. And the picture I saw in particular, it looked Photoshopped because it looked too perfect. It looked like clouds formed a 5-tiered pagoda over Mount Fuji. Now I'd seen some more legit looking pictures that had maybe 2 close to 3 of these pagoda looking clouds, these lens shaped clouds over Mount Fuji, and that's not the only place where they occur in all sorts of places. But I thought to myself, well, that probably is some of the very earliest inspiration for how the pagoda even came about, was lenticular clouds over Mount Fuji or over other mountains. So it's not necessarily written anywhere, but I figure some reverence to those types of cloud forms and that shape would have translated over to Kerran's one way or another. So that's why I went with this type of a roof. That might be wrong. Rosie might say that there's a totally different culture that would end up using it, but I went for it with this. The edges kind of look a little rough, and if you catch with the light, you can see it's not completely smooth. But that's not the point. The point of it was just to kind of try to get something that looks like that conical pagoda roof in some form. Doesn't have to look perfect. All of this really is just a study. You can see I really haven't done too much to mess with the color. The only other material I've used than the diagonal burled wood is the raw burled wood that I use in some of the lattice work. It gives a little definition from the diagonal burled, but not much, and unfortunately it's 1-for-1 with the wood you chop down. You can't build it with the plank, so it's a lot more expensive to work with, as it were. So that I'll probably get some more wood detail and different styles of wood in as we go on. That's something I'd been thinking about with it. The 4-pointed star actually is something that doesn't necessarily require voxelmancy, but it's a very kind of complicated technique just to actually execute it. I'm definitely going to get one in at some point, and I might maybe just frame the north and south with one, and maybe add some somewhere else, or some hanging down or something as adornments. But I really just couldn't bring myself to take the time to make the star shape and try to put it in anywhere, because once again, I was trying to do this as a low to no voxelmancy build, and that shape, it's similar to how I would cut the wave pattern out that I did here, but doing it in a way that it looks nice and precise and, sharp even. It takes a little bit more work than that. So, you've been able to see it here in the daylight. Let me kind of get a little bit of distance so you can see the actual kind of height of it relative to everything. So it dwarfs all the trees nearby. It's just some lab space up there. As we get further and further away, you really see this thing is, on top. This is the high lookout point. I could definitely make it taller, and making it taller would give it a better angle on kind of what's going down further down the hill here. But I don't know if this is a Kerran home for the purpose of being the lookout for a larger part of their civilization, or more it's just some Kerran that decided, well, they want to live high up in the hills. Maybe they're kind of a short Kerran, so being high up and being the tallest one is what matters to them. So I'm not definitely not stopping on this build. It's only starting to get awesome now. I've really got to get some more detail and some more variation in the lattice work for sure. I just noticed something here. It's just gonna take a second to adjust it, and there we go. Hopefully my keyboard didn't crash like it did during the marathon. Which is the weirdest thing. I've never had a keyboard that could crash before, but apparently it screwed up my frame rate for a little while when it did. Need a few exterior walkways or platforms. Yeah, the exterior, I'm probably going to be building off a second segment off to the side of my root claim, and having scaffolding that kind of builds up and winds its way up. So that way, yeah, someone could make their way in, but it's really big and clunky, and the Kerran or Karens who live here would be able to notice it. Now, one other thing I haven't really seen anybody do too much, the trapdoors. This could just be a little storage space for where you hide the hookah and stuff when people aren't around, or it could actually be used as a way to interface with the interior. I haven't built up the interior here yet. As you can see, the spars that go through it don't actually line up with the spars on the outside, but that part really doesn't matter. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to let the players even go down that far with the finished build, or if that area is going to kind of be sealed off with stone and or scaffolding or other sorts of things. But I'd really love to see more people using trapdoors just as a hiding space in the floor, or as a way to connect to the lower space without breaking the beautiful wood aesthetic going on. The hinges being on top, that's also kind of the thing I've been a little conflicted about, because that does break the aesthetic a little bit. I'm not sure if there need to be like little cushions or something on the side to help cover those, or what would be the best way, because I don't know if a Kerran necessarily wants these big honking hinges hanging out, but at the same time you can't really have the doors swinging down and inward, because it wouldn't really make sense to have them latch up into place. I guess it could, but yeah. So this has just kind of been what I've been working on, using the feedback that we've been getting from the workshop show. Now, I've got a lot of people to tour here, a lot of awesome builds, some that haven't even gotten a chance to see any attention and probably should have. So let's see, I believe I can just go to the gallery. Cadavar. I don't know where they've actually been working on their Kerran build, though. Is kind of the thing. You know what? Hold on for just a second. No digs. I've been under the weather recently. Didn't have any Kleenex around. Didn't want to be all like sniffling and snorting snot everywhere. Yeah, it's a good question, Diggs. Unless something happens that gets me a big old build-up before then. Should be pretty fast. Should be pretty fast. Alright. Well, if anybody has some way to contact Katavari, probably by Twitter, definitely let them know that we want to do a tour, but I don't know where. I don't know if that's the spot or not. Did your one? Well, let's move on. Let's get back to them later if we can. Alright, we'll hopefully hear back from them soon. So, I'm just going to move on to Maximilian for right now. So, how do you folks like the new interface? I'm really trying to get everything out of the way and just have it be mostly focused on the gameplay, trying to get chat out of the way, trying to get me out of the way, trying to get the interface out of the way, and really trying to just show the game. Because now that I've actually got a full-scale monitor, I've got two of them now, I can do all the full-screen stuff I need to rather than trying to manage the entire show and play the game at 1280. So, I don't think this is it. Flying in water. Interesting. Oh. Northeast of the spire, quad claim just over the mountain. Guessing it'd be this one then. Well then, I guess we'll just be heading that way. Brohogany. I'm not as familiar with that bug. Do you, I'm wondering if there's something on the forums about it or not. Wasabi and ginger. That doesn't sound right. Alright, well, I guess we'll do a little tour of an island here as I make my way to the claim. Yeah. So, has everybody gotten a chance to try out the new template rotation features? And been able to make some cool, awesome stuff? I've seen people make some amazing stuff with it now. That's a really awesome... It's not the templates, rather, just the entire paste board. Anything you have on the paste board, you can do a lot of awesome stuff with now. It's really cool. Does water sound right? Huh. Alright, I'm pretty sure this is the place. Let's come in for a closer look. Yeah, it's a lot of what we saw last time. I don't really need to go into too much more detail. It's most of what we already saw, so I'm just gonna move on. Theodore is next. Hey, Zell. Calm, that's interesting. Zell, is it a Kerran themed guild house or just a guild house? I guess we could probably visit it either way, but mostly working on Kerran tours for the workshop here. Thanks, Nightbot. Awesome. Yes, we will definitely tour that then. Sweet. Oh, that's really neat. I like that. That reminds me of one of my old line tool builds. But that's not even what we're looking at here. This is what we're looking at here. So we have that kind of jaggy, angular looking lattice going through there. That's a really nice trim to use. And it's an interesting place to use the metalwork too. I bet a workshop feedback would be, or from the workshop show would be, to use the wood for the detail work here, because Kerrans are more about doing the ornate woodwork and not really metal. But they've also said that Kerrans have different cultures and styles to them, so it isn't necessarily that it's wrong. In fact, actually looking at the entire size and proportion of the place, it seems a lot more like it's meant to interface with human architecture and be built with the city with others, rather than a Kerran structure that's meant solely for Kerrans. The low base is kind of how I feel, why I feel that way about it. But likewise, it gets kind of taller, deeper in, more where the hangout and kind of housing areas are. I really like these neat custom tiles that were done. It gives it a very interesting textured look, and it resolves the fact that we don't really have the tiles all going the same way exactly wherever we want them. So that's a pretty cool way to handle things here. This this wood lattice in here looks great. I like how it's got this kind of squishy, uneven look to it. It's really, really cool. Not sold on silver for that? Nice. Like a Kerran City, I could totally see that. I like what's going on in there. I can't really tell exactly if it's supposed to be something mechanical or if it's a part of a support. But this, it looks like that could actually, this post on the inside here could actually shoot all the way at the top and connect like some sails or something on it. Normally we don't see the central post, the central spire sort of thing going through a central column, I should say, going through a Kerran structure. This one, I'm not going to say it looks wrong. It definitely looks, you know, right with the context of everything else. But it's certainly a variation on a lot of what we've seen. I like the stars down here and the wood inlaid with the wood to give it some contrast, but still only be using wood materials for it. Again, really nice lattice work here. I love it. A ladder here. Yeah, I could see that. That makes sense. Ladders more than stairs for Kerran stuff, I would say. The separated wood boards here with the little with the other wood being used to create the walkway underneath. That works great. I wonder if using different cuts of the wood, using horizontal, diagonal, and vertical for the different types of angles and alternating. Maybe this plank would be using the diagonal, and maybe this plank would be using the horizontal, or something like that, just to give it a little bit more variance and make it look like there's less symmetry and maybe even less, overall planning that went into the actual planks themselves. Not that Kerrans intentionally are bad planners, but more that if something works diagonally, let's use it that way. I like that with the little arcing sections supporting. Again, like the stone and metal sort of stuff. It's not as Kerran-y. Now, here's of course where I'm sure everyone knows exactly what I'm about to say. I love these tiles here, but tiles don't just kind of sit on their own. There has to be something supporting them from behind. I don't know what the best way would be to do it without messing with the tiles themselves, but some sort of a simple lattice work or something to help support it there, like some scaffolding looking stuff underneath, would really help go a long way with communicating that from the inside just as well as is communicated from the outside. Didn't get that far yet. That's cool. I'm just going over the details as I see them. Also, it is kind of noticeable that these posts in here aren't actually connected to the little roof segment above. Is that intentional, or are they supposed to be connected and they just aren't because it would mess with the roof tiles? Just wondering. It did bring up on the forums that the Kerran city, all the buildings be several stories tall. Imagine Kerran's being really big into trade and commerce. I could see that. That's a good point. Everything we've been told is to build things tall, and I feel like some of what we've seen, people had worked with A-frames a little bit. And they were said, maybe not necessarily to do that, but then again, the idea of kind of a shorter A-frame sort of thing and kind of a, supported but kind of lofty structure that is really just the place where you tuck all your goods away during the day when they're not being, when they're not out being sold or used. That could definitely be usable. I think that was Cody's claim where we see that, if I'm not mistaken. We also haven't, just because the base itself needs to be pretty strong and sturdy, I haven't really seen too many people actually put like an entryway into the base when they've got most of the action up top, and I'm wondering if that's the part where Kerrans would interface with the other races. Really, I cleared my UI and now my mouse cursor is gone. There we go. So, really nice building. Let's actually look at that drop there again. So we see the wood planks, they're all separated. They all line up. Not that everything has to be symmetrical, but it's very noticeable once again that everything all is the same widths and very, very uniform. That once again though reinforces the idea that this structure here could be more a Kerran structure and part of a human city, or a city where a lot of trade and interaction is going on, and not necessarily, Kerrans building for Kerrans in Kerran territory. It probably would be a putty voxel there. Alright. So let's look at, let's actually kind of take from, we're going from this stately human built area and finally going over into the Kerran side of town. So I like this use of the materials to kind of blend away the plaster and show the brick behind. That's really, really nice. And that's using the small brown brick, and what's the other material you're using there is the transitory material. Desert lowland cracked earth. That's really smart. That's a great use of the material there. That's a great detail that really anybody could add to their Kerran build. That's a great set of materials used to do it with too. Very smart. Very smart. As we come in, the thin wood kind of going around there. Definitely using the different thicknesses. That's something that's kind of missing on my build because I'm not working with the microed voxels as much, but using that kind of thinner wood to help accentuate from the thicker stuff is really, really good. Especially using the two different types of woods like you have been the entire time here. It looks great. It feels warm. It feels like it's able to breathe. It's not, building up moisture and getting all soggy and cold or whatever. Now as we kind of go further down here, this is something that they had kind of said to avoid a little bit, is having the large pieces of wood, the large structures of wood. I think it was the large ones and not the smaller ones, where they're specifically saying that they wouldn't cut out a groove and lay another piece into that groove, or cut them so that they kind of interlink with each other. I'm pretty sure that one would be more kind of laid across the other. So that's something I would recommend kind of messing around with in this area here, is having ones that are definitively under and definitively over. The ones that are coming out from the walls kind of feel like the ones that should be over, versus the ones that are coming up from the ground feel like the ones that should be underneath, kind of holding it up, holding that that support rather than kind of being locked in with it there. Good use of the metal bands around, definitely. Looks like it'll help keep it together and keep it reinforced. I like the water down there too. Makes you think that there's maybe some shallow fishing or something that could even happen there. Yeah, I don't know. Tying some rope or some rawhide leather strip or something around two pieces of wood probably happened before two pieces of wood were kind of cut and grooved to fit together. Splitting hairs here because we're looking way back in the history of architecture and design, but that's apparently, we've been told that's not the Kerran style, so I have to echo those things. And for a two-way juncture, I could maybe see doing three-way. That's like, I think, a little way too busy for a wood intersection with Kerrans. Yeah, Kyrie, I agree. We definitely need to suggest rope props on the Reddit thing for props, for the props that we want to have. Different types of knots and shapes and such. Straight pieces, curved pieces, circular pieces. So this is more of an actual, staircase there, not just a ladder. and ladder to get even higher up, and this is really more just a hangout sort of area, and nobody's really going higher than this, so that's all just area for light and air to go through. Really, really nice stuff. And the eye levels are kept separate from one another, so that way you don't have people eyeballing each other across from, you know, one building to the next. So that definitely, you know, that really counts with the Kerran style. Now, how does one actually get into this lower section? That's just through the this kind of basement-y area here, right? Yeah. So this is really good use. Like the structures themselves kind of look tall when you actually look at them from the base. Looking at this as the base, and all the way up to the top. But it feels like when you look at it from the outside here, because the base is also kind of in part of this whole surrounding wall that encircles the entire structure, it makes them look shorter than they actually are, because this just kind of looks like, you know, wall. You're not necessarily sure if there's anything actually going on in these areas. So I'd say this one's a little deceptive. It looks shorter than it actually is because of that wall going around. That doesn't mean they couldn't necessarily be taller, or that you won't be told by Rosie that things need to be taller, but it definitely seems very functional, and I feel it's really, really, really honing in on the Kerran style, the Kerran aesthetic, especially the sort of stuff that we'll see with Kerrans being built with other cultures. I like the use of the arch here, and then kind of reversing it using that wave pattern going all around. The plaster, or whatever material this is, this high up, looks just fine. Some builds it doesn't look quite correct, but here it's definitely, it works with it. I think that's even like a snow or ice material being used there, but the color of it works really, really well with the positioning and all of that, and definitely it's a different material, so it separates itself from the plaster down here. That's ice, yeah, that's what I thought. Fully expect to be told taller, yeah. Okay. Small ice bricks. Now, I do like this part here. There was the idea of parts of Kerran roofs that look like they're reinforced, have boards on top of them, so Kerrans will actually be running up along them. And this feels like one of those areas, whether or not they're meant to run along on the shingles here, or if there'll actually be kind of boards actually placed down for them to run along. I think that's a good idea, having this here, and that could potentially even be extended all the way around. That's kind of the patrolling lookout area there. Looks great. Now time for the fun part. I like the use of the dull tungsten here. It really makes me wonder if we're gonna get a painted wood, like a green painted wood and a blue painted wood material, because I think those will really work well for this sort of stuff. And it's funny, Portivar, because I actually searched the place by Theodore. That was whose recommendation I had to go here, but clearly it is an awesome collaboration project going on here. So what are the coordinates? No, actually, I just want that part to copy. Okay, gonna send this off. And while that's sending, I'm gonna do a giveaway here. All right. See if Nightbot's not slacking. Good, good, good. Thank you for the follow. Oh yeah, you actually do have to be following the channel too, otherwise. All right, so I'm gonna start the timer. In 5 minutes, we will see who wins. Oh, and by the way, it's neuro tokens to see how many neuro tokens you have. So, looks like that publish succeeded. We're going to be moving on to the next destination. To Maximus, to Bad Vikings claim. Where'd that friends list go? And yeah, if anyone's wondering, I give out 100 neuro tokens every 5 minutes. You should have one. Oh, looks like Catavari scrapped their claim. Oh well. Hello? You got it, Pi. Hey, Countess. Yes, Kerran's in the mountains, indeed. Really neat claim here. Honestly, I'm not sure where to start. I like this. Just kind of some experimentation stuff, some lattice work. Stuff that's used throughout the build, I'm guessing. One more minute. Actually, by the time you see this message, it'll be probably less than a minute, or hear this message rather. But it'll be closing up here pretty soon, so get your tickets in. Think you would use more wood textures? Yeah, seriously. So let's kind of look at just the shape and structure of everything here. So the different lengths of wood kind of going off there. That's not only, correct, but it looks really nice the way it's done there. The handmade wood planks here, so they're just little gaps in between, just like a 2 or a 3 micro gap or whatever, near the smallest of sizes, but it's enough to give it some light going through, makes it look like there's some breathability to the building, and of course the lattice window there really helps to make it look like there's a lot of air that's able to get through the place here, so that's really nice. Alright, gonna draw a winner. Calm! Congrats! Let me grab a notepad here for giveaway distribution. And Calm, what in particular would you like to win here? You saw the list earlier, but just in case you didn't, lunar anklet, iron pour cutlet, gem seeker's brooch, 7-day beta key, or this month's item, even though they haven't been given out quite yet. So getting back to the build here. These candles here, they I don't know. I feel like maybe they at least need to be on a some sort of fancy platter or something to catch the wax, and it's not just, you know, a bunch of wax dripping down below. But candles definitely seem like something that Kerrans would be using, possibly more than torches. I haven't really seen a lot of torches, it's more like lanterns, really. Gem Seekers is the 1 hour of gem detection. Kerran must take care of that house is burning down. Yeah, really. So there's a little bit supporting the tiles there. Looks good. The wood along the top there. Once again, Kerran's kind of running along the rooftops and jumping from the rooftops to other places. You know, that's potentially that's what the size of a Kerran jump is going to look like. So that's actually pretty good there. I really like these here with the kind of the supports holding it up, and they're not upturned on the ends. They're definitely they terminate in a kind of downward slope, and they have that nice crescent shape here. So really everything, the use of the crescent shapes for the negative space, this nice tiered look. It looks like it's got a lot of breathing to the building here. I'm sure Rosie would say that it's too short and that it needs to be taller, but this is, I can see that this is a completely different, you know, this is this tribe's cultural style of building. They find a tall mountain so they don't have to build high, and they build their overlook so they can see what's going on in the valley below. I really like that with the that X-crossed wood pattern or wood logs there to help support it there. All right. Now these kind of rails going around, it looks weird to me, honestly. It kind of looks turd-like. I'm wondering if it's a little bit too roughed up, or if something that looks a little bit more like just a wood log being put across a bunch of other wood logs and tied or otherwise attached in place there would work better or not. What do you folks think? Does this walkway look like really awesome and I'm just not seeing it, or what's going on? Not the walkway, but the railing here, excuse me. Because it, on one hand, it kind of has this smooth kind of spirally look to it, but it doesn't, I don't know, it looks a little too chunky to me, I guess. This, though, this looks right. This, I like the look of this here. Smooth it a bit more. Need more work on the handrails. Alright. I'll be looking forward to see what you do with them there. So, same as this. It's a very similar design to the other one. It's maybe even, is this the exact same as this building here, just kind of put up a little higher? or is there more difference in variation? I don't remember how it looked in the other one. I don't think it had these thicker supports going through, so I think they were a little thinner on the other one. But that's really nice. I like this one too. I like the 'cause it all fits together, and it's all very much in a similar style. These different wood bands here going in different places. Is that intentional? Is it supposed to look like kind of different areas where it's being attached, or is this just cleanup work that hasn't been finished up yet? Because I like the look of the metal bands going through in different places and giving it the look that it's they were reinforced and maybe even built up at different times. All started with the same house. I see. You're in the process of randomizing them right now, adding more detail and definition and variation. So let's look at those ones then. Let's go down towards the bottom here. I wouldn't imagine seeing Karens burrowing their own tunnels, digging their own tunnels through stone through mountains like this. What do you folks think? I like it. I think it looks great, but I didn't know this was something that Karens really did. It seemed like they're more the types to build into nature that already exists rather than do stuff to deform it in this way. Once again, cultural differences, differences from one Karen to another. I think they'd use dynamite. So I see there's some variation. This one's a lot more open. It's got the latticey window thing going around it the entire way instead of just the one wall on the bottom floor. And it's a different lattice pattern. Still, these rails, they well, you already know they need some love. Let's take a look at this one. This one's also got some nice difference to it. It's more of a really open square kind of thing. Looks like it's really easy to replace if it needed to be. It's supposed to be natural cuts? Okay. Yeah, I don't really know how much Karens actually mine. That seems like something that they would maybe even find abominable. I don't know. They collect their metal from some things, but maybe they just go and hunt iron golems out in the world and destroy those because it's metal that's already been harvested and collected. It's just been used for some malign purpose, and they need to be destroyed. Really nice stuff here. Really, really great. The flow of it too. There's so many ways for a Karen to be able to get through and get around. And if they're just jumping all willy-nilly like that, then yeah, these are great heights for them to be able to just jump from point A to point B. Definitely feels like the lunar anklet helped. Very nice. Great work here. This really adds a lot to what Karen potentially could be in the game. Really nice work here. I'm going to see if I can get a nice screenshot to do it justice. Oops, supposed to stand there, not fall past the edge there. Move this out of the way. What you trying to show me here? I mean, it looks really cool. Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh, copy this time and don't go anywhere. Copy, 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 copy. I wish I had a feature for like LOD vision so I could turn something on and instead of seeing everything by its materials, see it by its level of detail. So it'd be, I don't know, gray is the closest and then different levels of color gradation as it gets further and further back, or different colors to define that it's that further away in the level of distance scaling. PyWing, if you do /LOC, it'll give you your location, your X, Y, and Z coordinates in the world. And keep in mind, it's X, Y, and Z. Y is up. If you hold your hand like this, it'll help you with X, Y, and Z in the distance. I'm pretty sure that's the coordinate system they use here, same as a lot of other 3D systems. Okay. Okay, so the tour continues. We're going to go check out Zell's claim. Zell, are you in game right now? I thought sure I had you on my friends list. Yeah. You're not in game right now. Let's check out this guild house. Wait. Okay. I was looking at it, it's like, wait, is that a giant thatch building? Well, maybe just in the screenshot from when it was first taken. No, not Zale. Zell. Come. I wait till the end of the show. That way I don't accidentally start showing people my email or other things like that. Hey, that looks really cool, that rainbowy kind of chromatic look. That's neat. That's, I guess, coming from these lights in here. Hey, Chip, how's it going? Anybody isn't aware of Chip, he does swap meets and other awesome stuff, and he's been on Live Feature Rant and Dead Feature Rant. Cool dude in general. Definitely give him a follow. And I don't mean to be saying like him above all other people. I'm sure, I know there's a lot of other streamers in here. Definitely, y'all feel free to identify yourselves here. Don't think that you can't make yourselves aware to the community just because it's someone else's show. Because I really like being able to have everyone know who all the awesome people are, all the builders and the streamers for Landmark here. I usually visit a lot of people myself. So if you're a streamer, please do say something here. Now, let's kind of give it just a little look over here. Now let's actually look at it in full. Oh, Tomzo, how you doing? Gotcha, Poro. Cool, Rave. Poro. I really like this. It's the kind of tree forms, the tree-like shapes, both with the roots and branches kind of being represented here as support. I really don't know where this would be built. I don't know, how much a Kerran would build up a structure like this, flatten out the ground even to do it like this, but it's a really interesting way to do the, just the connection to the ground here even. I like this pool out here, that's really nice. Cool little hangout spot. Not sure what the wooden frame inside of it's for, but interesting. Gives it a little bit more intrigue to it. But I'm guessing what I'm seeing here isn't really the sort of stuff that's the main feature of the place. So let's go up in it here. And it's all those lights that are embedded, I guess, in the ground or in the inside the wall that's giving this very nice prismatic look to it. The very kind of chromatic color scheme being reflected off it, which is really nice, and it's a really smart way to do it. Just move the entire building. Are these showers or something? I guess so. bathrooms. It's a kitchen. Library. I really like that with the barrels on the ends of the wood. That's a really nice look. That's pretty damn cool. Especially because it's a different type of wood, so it's very clear that this is an accent piece and not, you know, it's not just for structure, but it's also to make it look nice. And a ladder. Yep. Let's look over here on the other side. I don't know what those are supposed to be. But we've got... that's a really interesting shape. Kind of like a hangout, eating area sort of thing, I guess. Gotcha, Zell. There was some beautiful state building or something in, I think it was in Victoria in Canada, where they actually realized when it was all finished and built up that there weren't any bathrooms anywhere in the building at all, or like very, very few of them. So yeah, you don't really need a bathroom because your characters aren't going to the bathroom, but at the same time, you need them because a building without bathrooms doesn't look right. So there's like a big meeting room here. It's very heavy though, with all the plaster everywhere. You know, not really any wood except this in here to cut it. It feels very cold. It doesn't feel warm and natural and vibrant and lively enough. But I'm sure that'll all be adjusted. That's a really neat symbol there. Still haven't painted yet, very raw, yeah. I see you've got like ice bricks and some amount of water going around in some of the places. What's ultimately going to be your plan for the rail and walkways and stuff? It actually kind of looks like it's half a rail and half part of the roof, though. As we've been told not to use the thatch, I'm guessing this is going to be changed up to something else here in a little bit. That's a great idea. I like that variation on this star. So I like seeing more of the woodwork in this area. It a lot of ladders and stuff. It definitely feels like if it's a Kerran guild, then it's Kerran leadership, but kind of open membership to all races. Because there's a lot of the build here that feels like it's, you know, proportioned that anybody could get through, not just Kerrans. And using the amount of stairs that we see everywhere once again kind of reinforces that. I like these planters and the barrels and these interesting rainbow lanterns. That's pretty neat. I wonder if they should be hanging instead of standing like that. If that should be hanging down from a chain or something. Being stubborn when building with thatched, switch to shingles when they make a shingle that won't horribly cover the curved roof. Gotcha. We've seen these flaming planter things before. So you've got a lot of nice size and form to the place, but it doesn't really feel super Kerran quite yet. Not enough lattice work. It's too it feels a little too short. Like, I know you've tried to prop it up here a bit, but it just doesn't feel tall enough. It doesn't have the feeling that you're high up looking down on the surrounding area when you're inside. Definitely, I would say not enough kind of separation. I would almost think about, if you're going to use the same size, do things in an integrated way like you have, but definitively segment off like different quadrants, and maybe even having them at differential height. Like if just from like this here to this area here basically was brought up. Oh, you can't see it on the can't see my mouse. Like this area here, pretty much from where I'm standing here, kind of sweeping across to here, could be kind of raised up a little bit to give a little bit more definition to that area. There you go, Calm. Yeah, I mean, if this is the entire height that you have to work with, I would say definitely work on working with it here. Because this definitely feels like it should be towards the top of a lofty, Kerran structure, especially something large. I could see it. Okay, I could see it starting with the large base that it has, but then as it builds up, definitely having kind of 4 quadrants that are being built up almost separate from each other, potentially, so that way they even kind of taper out, and you have 4 separate roofs at the very top where I'm at this height now. Definitely need a lot more lattice in there. I feel like it, not just taller in general, but like longer, like bigger separation from the not from the floor to the ceiling, but more to open up these areas here and give more breathing. And once again, that'd be where the lattice would really be utilized the most. 4 towers, different sizes. I don't know if starting at the top, though. I feel like you would need to start a little bit further down with it. I like a lot of the detail that you've got lower down, but I feel like maybe the I don't know. Like around here is where the kind of plaster to wood transition really needs to be getting close to the end and working a lot more wood from here up. there's a lot of good stuff that you can do with the space, and there's a lot of ideas that I really like going on here. Um, but right now it feels like something that Kerran's worked with another race on, rather than something Kerran's did, by Kerran's for Kerran's, as a Kerran guild of Kerran's doing Kerran things in the world. Know what I mean? Kerran themed casino? Oh yeah, actually, you might be right. You might be right. Really excited to see some more of what you do with the place here, though, especially with the feedback here. And if you have any other questions or feedback or whatever, I can definitely hit you up with more. And there's a lot of awesome builders in the community who I'm sure would be willing to help give you some more ideas and suggestions if you need any. But I like a lot of what I see, and I want to see a lot more, and a lot more kind of variety with it. It should be really awesome. Come on, grappling hook, get out of the way. Cool. The top segment was the lowest part 4. Gotcha. Actually, I would like this a little bit lower down, I think, is kind of the opening, like, hangouty area. This actually kind of has the look of a stage or something here, like more of the entertainment hall. Time for some pie. So, pies is the last tour entry I have here. If you've got a Kerran build and you want some feedback on it, you want some advice, just let me know, and I will definitely follow up. Specifically Kerran builds. Yeah, didn't follow the rules, huh? Looks nice. Neat. Key lime pie would be pretty awesome. I will not argue with you there. So this looks like 3 claims being used. Pretty cool. Looks to me like a Kerran beach resort, or a human beach resort for humans, but themed after the cultural style of Kerrans, like, you know, like the Luxor Hotel or whatever in Vegas, or various other hotels in Vegas that, you know, use the imagery of a culture to make the aesthetic of the place. Oh, 4 claims? Cool. Alright, so I'm going to start from the top here. We've got this little lodge area. We've got some bottles and things, and a little bath, and a bed, a little shower. A human-sized shower, I should say, as a Kerran would not really be able to fit under there in a comfortable way. I like the use of the tube prop there as the pipes. Sink. Oh, it's a massage table. Oh, well then. What's the difference between a massage table and a bed? I guess the thing where you put your face through or whatever. Good use of the trap door as the door for it. Very woody and natural. Kind of the same thing with all of them, I think. A flower bath. Yeah, I guess to the same extent, this would be way too small of a tub for a Kerran. They would be like mostly hanging out of it. That's a really neat looking doorway there. I'm guessing those are some sort of a plant or something. Thank you for the follow. Is that Dirty Bezel? I like how these are used to accent the doorway. That's really cool. Nice pools. I like the lights you've got in them. I like the inlay you've got in them. I like the candles on the sides. Very nice. On the inside of this area here, the wall looks correct. On this side, I don't know. I wonder if a little line of lattice kind of cut out in the middle of the wall, or even towards the top of the wall, could work really well here to give a little bit more breathability and make it look a little bit less boxy from this side. Just a little bit of lattice, or like a rail, or like a thin wooden log or something, just going across the tops of them. Yes, Com, yes. Yes, that thing cats do when they do the massagey thing. That's really funny. Nice. Does it seem a little weird that this tree is on the edge of the planter instead of in the middle? Just wondering if anyone else feels that way about it. But it feels like if you've got a planter that the stuff would be more towards the middle rather than the edges. Fugazi. Trees grow where they grow. Yeah, but yeah. I rarely see planters where the tree in that planter isn't in the middle. Just saying. And this one's got, two trees, one on this edge and one on that edge. Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Be a little bit of work to get that going, but yeah. So this seems more like a Kerran size hangout spot. Like they'd actually have enough room to kind of lay across and lounge on those mattressy looking things. I like how the pillars are used for curtains here too. That's neat. And you have these little lookouts, little hangout spots. So this part here, I would say, definitely feels more Kerran than the massage lodge. Oh, I see. There's also this door that leads to the outside here. And I think it just repeats the same thing as it goes up here, right? No, it's not part of our... There's nothing wrong with that at all. All I'm trying to do is extrapolate on what the developers, I feel like they're trying to say or want to say or are thinking about, but just, there isn't enough time and it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to think about. I don't know how they were able to do that long-ass workshop last time, though, and then they still didn't really get through everybody's stuff. I do like this bathtub here. It's still like a little too small for a Kerran, but that's fine. Proportions can be worked out. This though, this is a Kerran just kind of laying across this and be like, yep, yeah, I'm gonna take me a nap. I don't think that's what Kerrans actually sound like when they talk. Wouldn't that be a really interesting contrast if Kerrans sound like this? Her, I'm a Kerran. Roar. Yeah, Fugazi. I mean, I was in the middle of a marathon, so I was like, man, how am I even gonna stay awake through this damn thing? But some amount of taking notes and some amount of interacting with chat helped me get through. So, we're seeing the same thing as I keep going up. I don't need to go into each individual one of these structures. They do get a little bit, the lookout posts get a little bit shorter as you go up. This one here, it seems like you're at risk of falling off when the door opens and whacks you. Oh yeah, hotel rooms. Cool, see you later, Rave. I will definitely be contacting you later on. Hey Pora, are you still around? Were you working on some Kerran sculptures or anything? I can't remember. Poor Devar. It's a good thing there's no falling damage. I like that planter there too as a way to kind of cut the space because it doesn't go down any further from there. Nice use of the planters around the posts there. That's really nice. That's really smart. And those squared posts. There's nothing wrong with using squared posts, everybody. Rectangular is maybe a little bit questionable, but square posts and circular posts work equally well. And rectangular like these, I don't really see a Kerran cutting that shape, to be honest. A long, thick plank like that. That's just my my personal opinion on it. Trying to do a Kerran foundation, but all I got was a bunch of weird shapes. Also made some antlers that will work with the Kerran build. Sea lions. Oh, calm. No. Ah. Calm. Ah. Sea lions. I'm not saying that these wood planks here are wrong, but I'm just saying they, I personally, I don't know. They're interesting. They work in the context here. Oh, that's cool, Poro. I really like this walkway here. Honestly, glass over this walkway and put it in the inside of an aquarium or something. This is really, really nice here. I like it a lot. I feel like maybe instead of these free hanging lights here, maybe little lanterns, just very tiny ones, would work well. Maybe even having them hang from the sides rather than directly from the top. Yeah, either more square, actually. The way these could be done is having two or three circular logs next to each other, kind of being extended out, and then have something going across them like wood boards. Seems like it would work a little bit better and fit a little bit more with the Kerran style, I think. Like instead of this being like the way it is, let me get back up there. It would be kind of split in the middle there, and you have one log will split along the middle, kind of where the character's head's at, and there'd be the one log on the left side and the one log on the right side of that split. There we go. Here, I made it so you can see the mouse cursor. So what I'm talking about is if there was a split along here and there's like one log here that goes down and another log here that goes down, and then having wood boards going across it, I think would work a little bit better there. Those logs would then be able to, instead of being an extension of this long section here, they could even come out from below the wood that you've already got built up. I think the wood boards over top of them would really make it look like they're actually supposed to be perches. Because if you anywhere pretty much that you've got the sets of the separated wood planks that are going across an area, it translates as a walkway, as a place that Kerran's intended to be walking along here. Let's see, where is there another example of that I can find here? Like, you know, kind of the stuff that we were seeing with Maximus's claim, the way there are the wood boards everywhere. Cool, very cool. And like I was saying, you can either have it coming off the end right here as it is, and just kind of an extension of the wood, or you could even have the logs kind of strapped underneath and then extending out. Either way would work, but I think that would definitely do a lot to make them look a lot more interesting. And like I said, I don't think that the rectangles are entirely wrong, but I just don't think they're quite right. These are very, very comfy looking beach chairs. Those are really nice. If you haven't put these up on Player Studio already, you probably should. They're really, really nice. I like them a lot. Oh, Tomzo, how's it going again? Welcome back. So, we are getting close to the hour mark here, so I'm going to be doing another giveaway, same style. Everybody has tickets, everybody has 100 tickets, because you get 100 tickets every 5 minutes in Neuroland. So, let me, I actually want to descend here. Does this just go straight out? No. Oh, I see, it's glassed over. Do Kerrans even mess with glass? It seems like glass and Kerrans actually are diametrically opposed. Kerrans wouldn't want broken glass anywhere. Get in their fur. I'm sure, I don't know if they use sandals or whatever in the that recent lore book that was released. It sounded like they maybe do, but I don't know. Oh, you won't, calm. Back to the Future Kerrans. Yeah. Yeah, no, this part right here definitely has like a hotel resort casino kind of look to it. What's this? Oh, it's just a floating star thing. That's really neat. That's awesome. Come, realize I'm not using Modbot for the giveaways anymore, so you can't just be the last one to enter and win every time. I haven't really read through it all, but I wouldn't say that it's a ninja versus pirate sort of thing whatsoever. I like this. Nice tables, little hangout chair or cushions. Makes me think of like a maybe Middle Eastern sort of place actually, or at least like a Mediterranean sort of kind of look. Very cool. Some real cool stuff here. I like it. Alright, I am going to start the giveaway. Look over if there's any other things that I didn't see quite yet. That hasn't worked ever since like Google and Wikipedia were, always free. Reinforce those roof tiles. Again, reinforce those roof tiles. Don't make people regret looking up. I gotta say what I gotta say. Well, what you gonna do about it? Oh yeah, sure, Faz. I definitely want to see how the progress has been going with that. Hey Adam, how you doing? For sure, Pi. Thank you for taking the time and effort to build this place up. I know it's, maybe a bit of a group project that you've been doing here, but I love it. Even if it isn't, 100% like, Kerran for Kerrans, and it right now has maybe the proportions of something designed to look Kerran, but to be used by humans in a hotel resort somewhere in like Vegas or some coastal place. Maybe this could be somewhere in San Diego. But I am going to start the break. Usually at the 2-hour mark, where we're getting pretty close to here, we take a short break so I can get up and stretch and refill my water and do all that fun stuff. So I actually need to make a little break time sign because I haven't made one for the new interface here. So I'll just take a moment. Text. No, that's not big enough. There we go. And then last thing to adjust about it. So it actually draws it all. Okay, AFK break time. I will see you all in well, actually I'll do the draw first and then I'll go take the break. 5 entries. What? I see that not everybody's stuff got in. Bad Viking, I've got you. Piewing, I don't have you. Oh. Yeah, it's ticket 1. That's... There. Alright, I'm going to start break time. I'm going to give everyone a chance to get their things, and I'm pretty sure the raffle will grab those entries. We'll move on.